In my other league, I am 4th overall in points, and I am playing 5th overall in points, and we will be trading places after this 'cause I'm
Is
losing.
that the regular league?
Yeah, he has
Okay.
130, and I
Let's
have
see. Standings.
70.
Um,
I'm good in the guillotine, though, so even though Devontae
Most-
Adams sucks.
I have the most points for, and I'm playing against 4th most points for, and this person has scored 152 points.
That's a lot of points, is what I would
Yeah,
say.
it's one of those yo-yo teams, right? 70 points next
So
week.
It's feast or famine,
Yeah,
and you just got the bad week.
I got the bad week with my team that scores 120 points every single week. And this week, I'm outscoring my normal total and still going to lose. Fun. Yep. I mean,
It's football.
it's all about consistency, right?
Yeah. You should try and get a guillotine going up there. I'm really enjoying that.
We're just in someone else's league, so, you know. If I could get a quarterback that would score any points, or if I'd played the right players, right? You know, like if I had played.
Let me talk to you about Justin Herbert.
Well, if I had played Tyler Lockett instead of Puka Nacua.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about to a friend of mine at work, and the problem with those sorts of things is that you look back and you're like, I would never do that. You're never gonna sit Puka Nacua for Tyler Lockett. That's never gonna happen.
No.
And so he's like, I can't blame myself now later to be like, in hindsight, I should have done this. It's like, no kidding. Like in hindsight, I should have drafted what's his name on the CJ Stroud instead of friggin' Patrick Mahomes, who's like been mid for a lot of weeks. Like,
or the Commanders quarterback.
What if I had put a defense in that got positive points?
Exactly. What if I had played the Cowboys defense that week? They got 30, or the Bills, or whatever,
I mean,
right?
even if the Eagles had gotten their projection of 9 points, that's a positive 12-point swing for me, and it puts me within 5 points of winning my game.
Yeah. Also, I have now decided that defense projections are BS. And
Defenses should never, ever be allowed to go negative.
You should expect 4 points max.
Defenses should never be allowed to go negative. I don't like this rule. I don't like it.
I mean, you could change the Yahoo scoring, right?
No, I know.
Not as the commissioner,
I'm
but
not
like,
the commissioner. I
just make the minimum or the lowest amount 0, and then it just goes up from there, right?
Yeah. I know.
People in my league voted that down.
Ugh, terrible. I don't know what this note meant. I guess maybe I'll move it to the bottom, see if I remember. Whoops.
Do you want to read it so that I can give you context if I remember?
Cast iron pan bottom.
Nope.
Sorry. Got nothing for you there, friend.
As per usual, none of us know what we're talking about. Episode 378 of We Were Gamers, a podcast where we are gonna hang out and talk, and who knows about what, because I've got the list and you're all here to listen to it. Hi, JJ.
Oh, hello. What you're secretly going to be doing is crossing your fingers that the end of this football game has a random touchdown that you weren't expecting.
Isn't it over? Is it not over?
No,
it's getting real close.
It should be very close to the end, but it's not over yet.
I
lied. Actually, it did end.
It ended, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I needed a Jared Goff to Sam Laporta TD in the last 5 seconds in order to pull that one out. Oh well. Eagles defense. You guys ready for this one? 11-6, 14-3, 7-7, 11. Washington, of all people, -3. What is that about? What is that? Is it just because it's a conference game and conference games always go like that and I should never play conference opponents against each other?
Wait a minute. You played the Eagles and they didn't have positive points?
I played the Eagles against Washington. They got 3 points against them earlier in the season, so I figured at this point it was a safe bet that they would get 5. No, -3.
does your defense not get points for sacks and interceptions?
It shows sacks and interceptions here, but I guess they let him score 31 points, which means they got -3. I don't have an answer.
Huh. Because that same set of things nets out to 2 points in my league, positive.
They must have done something. I don't know.
Must have altered the scoring at some point in the past. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, they must have altered the scoring in our league. I have no idea how it ends up with those points. Yeah, what a shambles my team is in, you guys. I have no backup running back that is worth anything. Kareem Hunt is my only bench running back that can play football.
That's rough.
Yeah, your Miles Sanders, Chubba Hubbard situation isn't helping, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do about that. I have that dilemma in one of my teams too, and it's clear as mud.
Yeah, well, my Champ Bailey jersey is officially 3-0. I've worn it 3 times this season, and the Broncos are 3-5. I didn't think wearing it this weekend against the Chiefs was gonna pan out, but it did. So you're welcome.
It panned out so well that it contributed to my highly picked quarterback getting less points than not only Jared Goff, but I think maybe every other playing quarterback.
Unlikely.
It's possible there was a guy who came in the middle for like one of the ones that tore an ACL and they got less.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think every other team in the NFL had a touchdown except the Chiefs this week.
Stafford?
By the way,
did Stafford play enough to get? I mean, he hurt his UCL, so I don't know if he played enough to get any points.
I don't know, but I do know there was one of the football podcasts that I listen to on occasion. The guy complained that he had a parlay bet this week for every team scoring a touchdown.
Oh no!
The only team that didn't do it up until Monday night, which the Monday night hadn't happened yet. Chiefs, the only one.
Wow! Of all the teams to ruin a great bet.
Wow.
Yeah, you figured that was free, right? Maybe you thought like, well, maybe the Broncos won't get one, or in upside down world.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey continued his 17-game streak now.
Yeah, he tied the record, I think.
Even though San Francisco seems to be struggling all of a sudden.
3-game skid.
Whoops. All right. I don't have much to say about Rantasy Football unless y'all do, but
I think you're bad.
Yeah. I want to lay off my entire running back core, which is a terrible transition to talk about the fact that another week, another set of layoffs, huh?
That is the most hard turn.
I mean, it works, but it's terrible. Mostly because the situation's terrible. So Bungie is now owned by Sony. Sony is now pre-panicking that they're not going to have enough cash flow or something.
No,
and has started laying off across the board.
Here we go. I got to take. This is what it is. All CEOs of all companies see other CEOs of other companies laying people off, and they're like, oh, we should lay off too. Because what is the easiest thing to cut that makes your books look better, increases profit? Just lay people off. It doesn't actually matter. There's no thought behind it. The CEOs never have actual good reasons. They're always just like, it's a trend. It's cool. All the CEOs are doing it. There must be a recession or something. Whatever. Who cares? Any reason. We're just going to lay people off. It's fine. Meanwhile, they continue to make record profits.
Well, do you have I talked about Brandon Sheffield before? One of the dudes on Insert Credit, also a game maker, has continuously every 2 weeks or so posted this same thing to Blue Sky. He just keeps reposting the same post. Quote, the hot business trend of the 2020s is to borrow a bunch of money you have no business plan or ability to pay back, alienate your core audience with features they hate in the name of short-term gains, and then lay everyone off and claim market volatility.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yep.
Yeah. He posts it basically every 2 weeks.
I mean, it's every 2 weeks is about the cadence that you hear about another game getting closed down, another team getting laid off, another something happening. And it's like, these people were the team that was developing some multiplayer shooter game you've never heard of and no one liked. because it was filled with microtransactions and was annoying, right? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know what the people at Bungie were doing. I feel bad. Like, I don't think this is their fault.
They're just a Destiny shop now, right? They just make Destiny.
They claim they're working on Marathon, which sounds like it's also Destiny, though. So, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Bungie was the just make Halo shop before that, right? Not to say that making one game at your studio is a bad thing, but like, it seemed after their Sony purchase, it was keep your head down and make this game make money.
And I think it has been, though, which is the weird part, right? It's like, isn't Destiny still wildly popular? I mean, like people doing it? So
Sony and Square Enix with their layoffs have not made a whole lot of sense. And again, Square Enix falls into the same exact category of borrow a bunch of money to try and bloat the new software you're doing with NFTs or other things that you have no idea how to manage, and then
like, meanwhile, Sony publishes these like amazing, loved first-person game, like single-player, games like Spider-Man and The Last of Us, and these other things that make like wild amounts of money, and then they're like, "No, wait, we can't. This isn't sustainable," or something. Like what?
Yeah, and they meantime opened up new profit engines by porting their games to PC, right? Like Horizon.
Hey, Michael, would you like to play Horizon on the PC?
That'd be real cool.
What about you, Andy? There's a new one of those. Where is it? Why isn't it on the PC?
I have a PS5.
They're hurting for money. Apparently, they're laying people off. What if it was on PC?
Yeah, crazy. I actually am also 3 for 3, unlike my jersey this year, on bad luck on this one, where I start applying for game jobs, and then all of a sudden it's like a torrential amount of layoffs every time.
I think you should be undeterred, because they constantly lay people off, but then they are also constantly hiring people.
Okay.
It's like different stuff, right? It's like people are being hired in different areas where the layoffs are happening.
Yeah.
So, and maybe it is true. Maybe there's just a lot of people, being laid off and going to more independent. I don't know. I don't know. What is this? An economist job? I don't know.
Yeah. Bummer though, huh? Bungie on the block.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, very, very strange to see the mergers like with Microsoft. I wonder how bad it's going to get.
If you don't think there's going to be big layoffs coming.
That's what I'm just saying. At Activision, Blizzard, King, all their subsidiaries, I wonder how many people are going to get the block on that one.
I imagine they let them run for a little while. It takes a long time for a big corporation to like sort stuff out, Yeah. But in about a year and change, you can expect to see some of those people get cut. Maybe it won't be a lot, or maybe it will. Who knows? I guess.
Yeah.
I guess Microsoft does want them to make games. That has been an issue that Microsoft has had. So they seem capable of producing games. So maybe they shouldn't fire them.
Maybe they should put some sort of moratorium on saying, hey, let's make some non-Call of Duty games. How about that? Now you have money. You don't have to do this thing that you claimed before, which is the fact that you are, but if you make a non-Call of Duty game, will number go up or will number go down? It does, well, so they financially
need it to go up only,
and got cyclically stuck, right? Like, you can only make this game because the financials of making the game require making the game. Was the cadence of Call of Duty, right? If you stopped the Call of Duty train at any point in time, the whole thing derails itself in terms of the finances and the debt and the everything else, and then more people get laid off. So maybe, just maybe, they can pause or load the cycle differently now. I don't know. Activision's got a lot of property they could use. Be pretty cool if one of them just happened to pop up at a different place, now that they're all owned by Microsoft.
Yeah, I have the feeling that more likely than them stopping making Call of Duty, I think the Call of Duty will continue until morale improves. But they will continue. They will let other people now potentially make things with those IPs, right? It's like some small studio is like, I have an idea for Warcraft 4. Microsoft might be like, no, but you tell it to us and then we'll make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the beta for the newest Call of Duty actually just came out last weekend or something like that, like a closed trial or something. Maybe it was open period to try out the multiplayer, and lo and behold, it looks exactly the same with everyone doing the same thing they did last time. Oh my god, it's so much better. And then 2 weeks in, they'll be like, it's actually exactly the same and I hate it still.
The influencer economy continues.
We talked about that before. I don't remember what we named that podcast, but the cycle of get everyone hype and then tear it down so that you can make clicks on your YouTube, right?
So,
I'm nodding sagely here.
Okay. Well, we've really ventured into dark territory, haven't we? A little bit negative, a little bit like the night. A Nocturne,
Yes.
perhaps?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. JJ, you finished Castlevania Nocturne, have you not?
I did. I have watched all the episodes that there are as of now.
All right,
I think
because
more
it's
are coming.
only season 1, right?
Yeah. Let me tell you, if they don't make a season 2, I will be upset.
I am halfway. No, I'm more than halfway. I have two, possibly 3 episodes left. I want to say off the bat that I wish every show had an Orlox. All rocks? All rocks.
All rocks.
All
Yeah,
rocks. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a cool dude.
Yeah. He shows up in the very first episode, right?
He's the impetus for creating Richter Belmont.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael.
Explain him.
Michael, stop us when you recognize some characters you know.
Have you heard of an All Rocks?
No.
Have
Richter
you heard
Belmont.
of Richter Belmont?
Yep, that one I know.
What about
Didn't have to go far.
Maria Renard?
Yes, know that name too.
Can you name other people, Andrew?
I think a lot of them were made for the game. I mean, right? Like that Abbott. I don't think that Abbott that is the new Forge Master is in the game, if I recall. I don't recognize him.
There are characters in Castlevania games that are like this guy, but I don't think there are any that are that guy.
Yeah. So Michael, I don't know if it's exactly the same origin story. I don't think it is, but they origin out Richter having a British accent in France by making him a colonial that is then flees to France because of this vampire named Allrox, who is a Symphony in the Night villain.
Allrox's quarters is a place in Symphony of the Night, and I believe there is a boss named Allrox there. Yeah. He kind of wears a suit similar to this guy.
Yeah. I love that they redesigned him to be, I think he's supposed to be Native American.
Yeah, I believe so.
And I mentioned, Michael, that he should be in every show, not because of the character that they've created, but because every show should have a dude that just seems outside of the issues at all times.
He's always on, Allrox is always on Allrox's side, and no one is ever on his side, you know?
But also no one's willing to cross Allrox for any reason.
No, because somehow everyone knows he's going to ruin them if they do anything.
So Allrox will just start wandering around places that if you were any other character, you would be instantly murdered. He reminds me very much of the aloofness of Alucard in the last version of the Castlevania series, without the angst.
Yeah, he doesn't seem mad about it. He's just like, well, guess I'm going to go save these guys now.
Oh, yeah.
Guess I'm going to go do this. Guess I got to go here. Guess I got to talk to these people. This is so boring.
Openly talk to characters about other characters in front of them and be like, this person can't be trusted, right? And they're
meanwhile
both,
they're standing right there,
and they're both fine with him just laying out how these characters are going to interact with each other. And they're all like, yeah, he's probably right, but like we don't have a choice about our interaction, and All Rocks is All Rocks, so
it's like, we'll definitely help you next, All Rocks. Trust us, certainly.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, and meanwhile he's like, I don't expect anyone to help me. I don't care what you're doing.
He's like, okay, cool, yeah, I bet you'll definitely do that. Bye. It's like, gotta go do All Rock stuff now. Yeah.
In the show, he it's no secret. It's not really a spoiler to say he kills Richter's mom because it's in the first 5 minutes of the show.
I was gonna say that's literally the opening scene.
Yeah, but you kind of get the impression that Alrox just did it because he was supposed to, like, oh, you're Belmont and you're here, so I guess I should kill you.
It really feels like if she had just like said like, we're cool, All Rocks, I'm just gonna go. You're gonna go, and we'll just go. And he would have been like, all right, and then everything would have been fine, right?
Yeah, but in the meantime, she was just like, oh no, we have to fight to the death. And he's like, okay.
He's like, gotta fight vampires. I'm a Belmont, and you're like,
I'm gonna turn into this dragon. Then
that's it for you. And
yeah, every show should have an All Rocks from now on. I think.
I badly want you to get and meet a couple other characters that show up near the end.
Okay, so I'm trying to describe where I'm at. I found out who the dad is of one of the characters.
Okay.
Around there, the night creature revelations have all kind of seemed to have been happened.
Yeah.
The main baddie has appeared and spoken, but has not taken flight. Let's say,
The couple.
It all takes place, Michael, during the French Revolution, which is kind of a cool change from the last. Did you watch the first series?
I still have not watched it.
Okay, so the first series almost takes place in like fantasy medieval time, like the Dark Ages, right? Like
unspecified medieval period, like high fantasy type stuff.
Versus this
one,
which
have guns. We don't quite have guns yet, but like they could invent guns any day now, kind of a thing, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm with you in time.
Versus the backdrop of this one is people are being guillotined in the street,
and they're like, you must register your faith with the Brotherhood of the however that worked during the French Revolution.
Interesting character developments with creating that backdrop. It's almost like Assassin's Creed in a way of like, there's the thing the Belmonts are always doing, but at the same time, he's kind of got to like play both sides of like, well, I want to get along with the church, but like these people that took care of me are part of the revolution, and you got to get like stuck in the politics of it actually like plays into why after this many years without Dracula and with like dying vampire society, all of a sudden it matters again. And it was really cool to see why they used that. Although every character speaks with a British accent, except for the people from the Caribbean.
Yeah. I was going to say Assassin's Creed is actually like a really good kind of point in terms of like the politics of this thing, as well as the tone. I don't know when the last time you played an Assassin's Creed game. It's been quite a while for me, but the thing I always remember about them is that like they love to gesture at the idea of politics.
Yep.
And then they're like, don't think too hard about this, but this is here. We love to say it's here. Look at this liberty, equality, fraternity. Yeah. Don't think about that too hard, though. Don't think about that too hard. There's the plot. Look at the plot. And it's definitely a lot of like they're like, what does it mean to actually be a person from the Caribbean in France? Like, but like the plot. Look at the plot. And look, this is an animated show on Netflix. It has a like younger skewing audience. I'm fairly confident.
I don't know. There's
it is a
themes.
Good show. I don't want to like disparage it. I think the plot is fun. I liked it. Like I enjoy their like some takes on some of the politics stuff. I don't think it's all bad. this isn't the show you're coming to for like deep thought pieces
about the French Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. This is a show about vampires, to the end.
The Assassin's Creed thing even goes further, where it's like, there's Templars in this. What does it mean to be a Templar? Don't
the captain of the Templars. The captain of the Templars is a cool character. What does it mean to be that? Don't worry about that, right?
He's really complicated, actually.
He's a great character. And like I'm saying, the show doesn't, and also, based on where this, the previous series went, right? You got 3 or 4 seasons, I think.
Mm-hmm. 3, yeah.
Kind of, I wonder how much of this is just, leaving the breadcrumbs for another season, right?
Yeah, we'll see by the end. So, a Nocturne is also, Michael, help me out. It's some kind of composition.
It's a musical thing, yeah.
Yeah. Right? Like, is it always on a particular thing? Is it like a strings or piano, or? I remember that being something.
I don't think so. I don't think it has to be, no.
Okay. But it is a musical composition as well as just being like a nighttime scene, right?
Yes.
That's always been the thing with the Castlevania games. The names of them since Symphony of the Night have always been musically related, right?
Yes. So, live in concert then, JJ.
Yeah. It was we went to a concert this weekend for my birthday. One which
is happening before this podcast comes out, or the day this podcast comes out. Happy birthday the day this podcast comes out.
Thanks. I'm old now.
Yay.
Hey.
I mean, we all get older as life goes on. Not a big deal.
It's a podcast title right there.
There you go. We all get older as time goes on. Yogi Berra.
I was going with I'm older now. Yay.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Give me the credit on that one. But relevant to this podcast, the concert we went to go see was The Empire Strikes Back in concert. And it's not just they were playing the score, they're showing the movie and playing the score live.
Yay.
Which is rad. Everyone should go do this stuff. If you ever get a chance, it is so cool. And not just because Empire is the best Star Wars movie. It is, but that's not it is. Bro. It is.
Definitely in all of our top 3.
I've now seen all 3 of those live in concert. Empire's the best one.
It does have the best music of those 3, maybe, although Jedi's music is really good too.
The thing about Empire,
I'm trying to think musically why if you're doing it live you might get more out of music, like what it might get bumped up.
So the first thing that you get, the first thing you notice live is like John Williams is just the GOAT. Like, how could you ever compete with the stuff that he's making, right?
The man Giacchino's giving him a good run for his money. I'm just saying.
Hearing those sounds, right? It's like, the movie goes dark. All the people in the audience are like whipping out their lightsabers and waving them around, right? Mm-hmm. And then Star Wars, and you hear, duh, and then like but it's a huge symphony orchestra in like, full surround sound. Everything is so awesome. Like I'm not musically inclined. I don't know all the, but like you're getting, a huge, you got multiple sets of violins and strings and the whole, brass section and drums, and the harpist is there. It is just like unbelievably like rich, and it just transports you to that far, far away time and space,
Mm-hmm.
And, because it's a movie, then I don't know how the sound mixing works necessarily. Like maybe they just cut all the music tracks and they just have the like sound effects and audio or whatever. But it's a performance right at that point, really, because the symphony has to pick up every time the music picks up and changes, and there are breaks. There's a lot less breaks than maybe you think or realize, because like even when there's like 2 characters are having a discussion, you're like hearing Han's theme very lightly in the background, or like Vader is talking to the Emperor and there's just like a little bit of like the Imperial March going on or whatever, and it's like the conductor is up there like working the whole time.
Any movie worth salt should have music at most moments.
Yeah, and there are definitely points where, like maybe there isn't a bunch of music happening, during one really pivotal scene, but like the silence is part of that, right? It is just like a really, really cool experience.
Awesome.
And
sounds great.
it's like the thing, because it's a performance like this, they also insert an intermission because I don't think the orchestra could play for 2.5 hours straight or whatever. Yeah, it's under that, right? It's like 2 hours something.
Maybe we should insert shouldn't play for 2.5 hours straight.
Yeah, probably not, right?
Difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, as our resident musician, Michael, I think part of your shows, the conductor or the announcer end up talking during the show between each piece in order to give people a rest.
Yeah, it's to give
Not
the
just
musicians
that.
a rest. Yeah, to switch music, which they would just have one long score in front of them and be constantly flipping pages. But yeah, no matter what the instrument, you need a break. You can't just go for that long without stopping.
Yeah.
So, where do you think in The Empire Strikes Back, where do you insert the intermission? I was thinking about this while I was watching it, and I'm like, because you want to do it kind of in the middle.
I would say after
there's not a lot of good spots.
Escape from the asteroid belt, maybe, or maybe touching down in Cloud City, sometime in there, after they get captured.
Yeah, so that's too late because once that's happened, like you probably got 30 minutes left to the end of the movie.
Okay.
So I think I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I think it was as they escape from or as they land in the asteroid.
Okay, yeah, somewhere around the asteroid belt is what I would have thought.
Yeah, I think they actually cut after a Luke scene that was right around there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it wasn't like, it was kind of like a down moment for all the action. But like, even when they cut, I was like, no, wait, the next scene is good. Wait, like,
go back.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a really fun time. Highest recommend for anyone out there who wants to do that. And while I was there, I was reading through the program, and they always like, here's upcoming things happening at other theaters and other stuff. Apparently, next weekend at one of the Civic Theater around here in San Diego, they're doing Into the Spider-Verse live.
Whoa!
Oh,
with like a live DJ and performers and stuff. I don't know. I was
playing
like,
music.
Oh my God. Right? Like if I didn't have plans this coming weekend, I would have been like, we're buying tickets for this. Let's go.
That means they're going to be playing music. They have to be.
Yeah. The thing says, a live orchestra, a live DJ, and musical performers. I don't know, who. I don't think they're getting Post Malone to show up, but I guess it's possible.
Unlikely.
Yeah, unlikely, exactly. But I briefly looked at the website, and the tickets are sold out. There's like 5 seats left in the entire auditorium. So,
wow, good for them. I think, Michael, since we're on the music side of things, you've got to answer my retro question first.
Okay.
Or I can go if you don't have an answer quickly. Right?
Okay.
This is always going to be the policy on the retro question. I can go because I usually have an answer. Are you guys ready?
You need the question.
No, you don't.
No.
Just kidding.
42.
I'm just kidding.
Life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah. If you were forced to, because I know we've all got our phones on silent at all times, pretty much. So it just buzzes, because who wants to hear a ringtone? But if you were forced to listen to your ringtone for some sort of Halloween-like Saw purpose or something, I hate listening to my ringtone. This is a question somebody else asked me. What retro piece of music would you have to have your ringtone be?
Like retro gaming or just retro in
retro
general?
Gaming, I think, was the intention of the question that was forwarded to me.
Yeah,
it has
that's the tough part.
Yeah. So, because I know it well, and I play the game, and even though I play it often on mute nowadays, I don't mind it because it's catchy and everyone around you would know it. My initial reaction is the Tetris theme.
A, B, or C?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask. I suspect you mean
joking. I'm
B?
joking on that question.
B is the popular one, right?
B is
the one that everyone thinks of.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. B is.
I might go with something from a Mega Man game.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Something kind of poppy and upbeat, but I don't know if I would go all the way back to 8-bit, but maybe. Because some of those games,
DuckTales the Moon.
Ooh.
Wily, what is it? Wily 3-2 or 2-1 or whichever one that is, the famous one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kind of upbeat though. It'd be DuckTales the Moon has too long of an intro. That song is really sweet, but I don't know if I'd want it as a ringtone.
Well, you might be able to pick the section you wanted.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you're required to listen to it, right? In this, because obviously your phone is just on mute, and no one cares what your ringtone is in 2023.
Correct.
That's how I feel about this question. You know who you are.
Yeah, the only thing that makes noise is my alarm, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Let's redo the question instead, right? Maybe we should have done that from the beginning. I should have thought of that instead of forcing you to answer the bad question. I should have said, what else could we make noise? What is your alarm if it's going to be required to be some sort of retro piece of music? Because then I don't think it's the Tetris theme song.
I don't know. That might be all right.
Maybe.
But yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the real question comes down to, do you want to wake up to a melody or a tune, or do you want harsh noise? Because you could get both from retro game sounds, right? It's you could have the Mario coin or something, the one up, something like that.
All right, so currently I use a standard Apple one because I live with someone else. But when I used to live by myself, I had the Enterprise D's Red Alert as my alarm.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Because that, got me up and I understood what it was for instead of sort of sleeping through it.
Yeah, I currently, mine is currently a melody, I think. Again, it's also one of the standard tones.
I think a lot of retro gaming music isn't super loud. It's kind of ambiance.
You would have to play with the audio levels and punch them way up, I think, for anything, because even if you just pick the coin sound or the one up or whatever, it's not going to be enough to wake you up, and it would have to repeat a bunch, right?
I think I would pick something like Super Baseball, or not? Is it Super Baseball? I think it's Super Baseball 2020 is the game I'm thinking of. Maybe the one with the robot players. It was a Neo Geo game. Because at the beginning of the game, it's got this robot shouting, "Play ball," and then there's techno music. So it would be kind of louder, maybe get you up a little bit better.
Okay, that sounds pretty
not a bad
good.
choice.
Yeah, there you go. It's not techno, but whatever they can do. The Genesis version had better music than the Super Nintendo music, as was generally the standard at that point in time, right? The Genesis had better music chip.
Yeah, I think that's generally understood to be true, is that most of the Genesis games, the music sounds better, and Double, especially the ones that came out on both.
Which is weird to me, right? Because nowadays, if you develop for a console and a PC and a whole bunch of stuff, maybe you put the PC out with a texture pack that doesn't exist on the others. But you always, maybe not always anymore because of the Nintendo Switch, Mortal Kombat proved not maybe. Although maybe you kind of are engineering for the lowest common denominator of all of the systems that exist. and then you don't put in that much extra development beyond that because it costs too much money. So it's weird to go back and think about like almost entirely every single game that came out on multiple systems back then. There were differences between all those games, right? Like this version was developed by someone entirely different, and they added and took stuff away, or they made different music for this stuff. Kind of weird to think about.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you go back to the SNES and Genesis era, like sometimes the games would come out on both and they would just be two different games. Like they wouldn't even be the same thing at all, right? Like famously those like Disney platformers, right? Like The Lion King.
Oh yeah, completely different games.
Those two games like on both systems are just different completely, like not even the same levels or things, like other than the idea of them being about The Lion King or Aladdin, nothing is the same.
Right.
All right, well, I said Super Baseball. That's my alarm, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm having a struggle.
DuckTales, huh?
I'm having a struggle internally between like, do I want like music or do I want sounds, right?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And I think, you know, if I'm taking music, like I really do like that DuckTales, so I would probably do that. But, you know, sounds, what if I did like the Metal Gear Solid Alert, you know? That's a good one.
Ooh, if I'm going music for an alarm,
oh yeah, you could do that.
Trying to think. I might go with the Link to the Past theme.
Yeah, kind of upbeat.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would wake me up. I would probably dream that I was in a Zelda game.
I'd have to set it so that the volume slowly increases as it goes along. But I think that would lend itself well to that theme.
I mean, just do the title screen, right? Where it's like, you know, do 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 do, and then like that clash, and then da 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 da.
Oh, I mean, if we're doing title screens, you just do the Pokemon one, right? Because it's instant battle theme. I was just saying, it's loud.
Sure.
I gotta have some volume.
Look, I figure like we got audio editing here. Like you could just fix the levels. Like I feel like that's, you know, a non-factor.
Fair point. Okay. JJ, you've got to start us off, and then we're gonna pepper you with questions here.
Okay.
There was a sale this past week on Diablo 4. So, you know, bad website style. 5 things I wish I knew before I started Diablo 4. Because I'm going to start Diablo 4, and I'm probably going to play it through it maybe more than once, but probably not initially. I played Diablo 3. You know how much, you know. I'm not going to do that. So what things should I not miss, or what things should I prepare for? What class? I'm thinking about playing Barbarian.
I think pick what makes you happy. I feel like the classes at this point are probably balanced enough in the like you're not planning to go to level 100 fashion that it's not going to make a big difference to you. There's like viable leveling stuff to do for every class.
Okay.
So if you want to be Barbarian, go for it. Goodness
advice is to make a seasonal character.
To enjoy them.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they're popular. They're good. She's got good taste, so I'm into that. Make a seasonal character, I've heard.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like there are additional little quest lines with the season, but just ignore it and just do the campaign. That won't matter. I will go ahead and tell you that doing all the side missions a bit.
Okay.
But don't really spend time clearing them all out in an area, because you will literally never get anywhere. And it will turbo level you so much that you will just like way overpower the main story content, because the story content does not scale as fast as the stuff does, and as fast as you will.
Now, if I remember right, you were saying that the monsters auto re-level to you?
Yes.
So you're always leveling no matter where you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, but the bosses and the stuff in the story quests seem to be fixed.
So how do you feel about this? I mean, Michael, maybe you got thoughts on this, but like, is it clear? I mean, what is, if you miss it, it's gonna you're not going to miss any story stuff, right? Like we've got right now in COTC the things where it's like, I'm really glad I know who some of these characters are, and I don't need to see memoirs of the people interacting with each other. But at the same time, in the most recent story stuff, like Heathcote pops up in the background of somebody's story, and you're like, oh, those two characters are related. That's really cool. That's as much as I needed to know about that. So we're kind of like at the stage even in COTC of like, I'm just gonna page through this unless I'm wrong. Are you guys not paging through stuff in that game? It's clear in that game what you could skip unless I'm wrong and you aren't skipping stuff. And I was worried in Diablo I wouldn't know what to skip.
So that it's clear which quests are the main ones and which ones are not. You will not be confused. There are different sections in the quest log. Pick the ones you want to do and then don't do the other ones. So that won't be a problem. Other stuff you can know. There's, especially early on, there's like basically no point in upgrading the equipment. You can take your items to the blacksmith and like have them enhance them. You're gonna get so much loot. Like,
don't bother. As in previous Diablo games, just equip stuff when you get it.
Yeah. You'll get to the next zone. You'll get stronger stuff. Like, some of the stuff from previous Diablo games is still here. They have like item level. It just is shown now. You don't have to like guess. You don't have to like figure out if the DPS is higher or whatever. There's just a little comparison window and it shows you which one is better, right?
How much is this game just Diablo 3 with new stuff?
It's not that close, I don't think. There is some of that for sure, but it's not exactly the same. Definitely, if anything, I found it interesting that Diablo 3 had more points of comparison when you would compare two pieces of loot. You could see like more stats and if they were better or worse. This doesn't even have that. It's just like compares the main stuff and then everything else is kind of like on you to figure out.
Oh.
Just interesting, but also like, because again, like, you're not going to care in 5 levels anyway. You're just going to throw it away for whatever the next sword that you get or whatever is, right? But in the end game, when you do care, then you're going to be knowing, I want this stat and I want this stat and higher than this number and blah, blah, blah. But at that point, like, you're invested. So you probably already know the stuff you're looking for and looking for builds and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a similar issue now with fortune weapons in COTC, right?
Totally, right? And you're like, well, I know I need, elemental attack on this weapon, but I already have this much and I need a number higher than 120. Stop rolling 93. Please stop rolling less than 70. Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you have it. If people have other retro questions, JJ?
They can send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. That's an email address, podcast@weweregamers.com.
Mm-hmm.
You might get us to ask about ringtones that we like, which were the style at the time.
I'm really glad you guys redesigned that question into alarm clocks because that makes a lot more sense in 2023.
Yeah, like, can you think of, derailing once again, can you think of the last time you heard someone talk about want like, seriously?
How about ringbacks?
Bro, now you're really dating yourself.
I want to hear a 14 kilobit compressed recompressed MP3 sent to me over a cell phone line at 2G speed. If you don't know what any of those words mean, you can email us at podcast@weweregamers.com.
There you go. And you can follow us on social media. We're at We Were Gamers. We're also on YouTube. Check out the YouTube, y'all. Get on there. YouTube.com/@WeWereGamers and find all your We Were Gamers content right there.
My dog just walked up next to me and put her head in my lap and shook her head just now. You can hear it maybe, and then burped. So that was fun. And if you've got Twitch, go get Doom 3 and Ghostwire Tokyo for free. Because why not?
Doom 3, the worst Doom, maybe? But for free.
Worst Doom, but also most interesting Doom. To me. Of like, oh, let's make a horror game. Like, instead of just like let's make a shooter.
They definitely went for it, right?
Right, yeah. Like it's a developer that decided, yeah, we could still do this and like try something else. It didn't work great, but it was fine.
Duct tape mod.
If you don't know what the duct tape mod is, email us at podcast.
Oh yeah, people should. I'm very curious to hear about that.
Oh my god, duct tape mod. I had an Xbox version of the game, so unfair.
There were, didn't some of the versions just like the developers acquiesced and eventually just put it in the real game?
Yes.
Man,
It was kind of baloney.
Talk about the community winning on that one.